Morning. My name's Nick. Otto the garden cat's right behind me, drinking out of a little mason jar full of rainwater. And this is the Tieta Permaculture vlog. It has been over a week, I think almost 2 weeks. I think it's been 2 weeks since I last posted a video, and I do have somewhat of a good reason. Last week I got dengue fever from a mosquito here, and that started to affect me on the Saturday, I think Saturday after I posted my last video. And it pretty much took me out of the game for about a full week and a little bit more. So I was out from about Saturday through this past Monday, so about 4 days ago. So it was pretty terrible. I would not recommend going the dengue route if you're looking for some sort of tropical disease to catch. Yeah, it was not fun. And pretty much just had a headache for 5 days straight, and kind of a migraine going on, body aches, etc. It's just overall not a good time. But I'm okay now. I'm feeling very grateful that I didn't have any major complications or anything. We had to go to the doctor. We got some blood tests just to kind of check out what's going on. I did get tested for COVID just in case, out of an abundance of caution, and I am negative for COVID. So that's a fortunate thing for me. I'm happy to say that. So yeah, that being said, during that sickness time, I was basically not back here working at all. I was not doing anything back on the homestead. So everything got a little bit out of control, and also the chickens got it a couple times, destroyed part of the garden. So it was just a whole kind of a cascading events that happened that led to basically just a lot of unkempt backyard. So today I'm just going to kind of check on the chickens. I'm going to show you around a little bit of what happened when I was gone, and then I did clean up yesterday for a while, so I got a few things cleaned up. So it's a little bit better than it was. And this is Otto, the garden cat. This is my co-star. He likes being out here with me in the mornings. Let's get started. I'm just going to check the rain gauge. I'm not sure there's much, but there's probably something a little bit dirty down there. All right, 0.17 inches of rain last night, or really yesterday. So yeah, in general, I just feel behind. I feel like I'm quite behind on most things I want to have already accomplished. I wanted to have got seed started already, prep for basically the next season of growth, because we're now past the kind of prime of summertime where it's super hot. So now we can start thinking about actually growing again. And really I was hoping to have, plants to be able to put in the ground right about now, but I do not. And that's okay. We'll adapt. We'll work towards the next steps. First step, obviously, is just kind of get things back under control here and get things a little bit cleaned up. And then we'll get some seeds started, and we'll kind of go from there. We're not super behind. We're just more behind than I'd like to be. But I gotta give myself a little bit of grace there, because I gotta get better. Health is number one, right? Yesterday, during all my cleanup, you can see I had a really deep layer of fresh mulch all throughout this top layer of their pen. And really, it's for a couple reasons. One, it was just completely, a lot of it was bare, a lot of it just needed a lot of mulch, but also I'm trying to prep to essentially start a new compost pile, especially if I'm going to start growing soon. So I'm just trying to get all this material prepped. So there's lots of green, it's going to rot down. They'll eat a lot of it, be food for them for the foreseeable future. And then they'll start scratching it in, start manuring on it. And then that's all going to become my basically base material for a compost pile. And then probably by the time the next flush of really green growth comes on, in a week or two probably, it's pretty quick here in the tropics. Once that comes along, then I'll just end up making a compost pile. So it should be soon I'm making one. Probably not this week, maybe next week. That'd be kind of a good goal for me, I think, to get one started next week at some point. So good news is I did receive my microscope, so I've started to do some microscope assessment of the soil and everything. So I'm just basically getting my footing with that. I'm going to get try to make sure I kind of know what I'm doing before I actually start sitting there with you guys and showing you. I did find that the way I have to set up my my camera into there, it does not allow me to see at the same time as it allows you to see. So I think I just need to get a little bit of an adapter so I can actually be at the same focus level, so we can actually share the vision at the same time, because otherwise it's going to be hard for me to be like, oh, here's this, and then not to go and refocus the microscope so that it's focused for the camera, and back and forth, back and forth. So take care of the chickens real quick. Some fresh water for you. Some fresh food. And Henry. There you go. Chickens did just fine when I was sick. I actually, basically Katie took over all the chicken chores. Henry's over here doing just fine. Still not quite integrated, but Henry's actually now sleeping in the coop every night. So so that's quite nice. We don't have to worry about trying to keep him separate or in a different spot. He's actually right in the coop. I do still have to put him in there. Yeah, we just have to put her in every night, and she a little bit fights it, but then it's just fine inside. And then we just leave the door open so that everyone can get out in the morning. At this point, the chicks are old enough and big enough that we're not too worried about them getting taken by a snake or something. If you can believe it, the chicks are down there. They look just like hens at this point. They're enjoying themselves down at the bottom. They tend to always kind of be on their own. I've been calling them the twins because they look very similar and they're always together. So they're the twins down there, and they're happy, they're healthy, they're growing. They're not as comfortable with people as these guys up here, but that'll come with a little bit of time. And it's mainly because these guys we actually raised like in a cage as chicks, so they're very young, they're always with us. So if you raise them that way, then they're going to be much more loving towards you, pretty much no matter what. So that's just, we're never going to get that way with those chicks because their mama raised them. So but that's okay with us. We don't really mind too much. I don't mind when if the chicks are raised by mama, because that's much less work for me. And I still can pick them up. They just kind of try to run away every time. So and when I just try to pick them up and hold them on a regular basis, just so they start to kind of get used to me being around and me holding them. So yesterday I got cleaned up. So we had another 4 or 5 sugar canes that were leaning over onto the clothesline here, and basically precluding us from actually using it so much. So I cut those down, and as I was doing that though, I made sure that, and you can see this is pretty much, I could probably use this as the actual sugar cane at this point. I think these are ready. Once it gets this dark color, I believe you can start using them. But I'm not an expert in sugar cane here. But I took all the green parts, all the canes themselves. You can see I stood a lot up over there just to have as trellis material, or just big bulky mulch if I ever needed, or for a compost I can lay those down at the base to use as some aeration maybe. So I do save those as much as I can, but also if they're smaller, I'll just throw them in again with the chickens. So there's a bunch underneath all this green stuff here. But all of the actual leafy growth, the green leafy growth, it's really high in silica, really good mulch for here in the tropics because it basically takes a long time to break down. So I made sure I collected all that, and that became the mulch for this garden right here. So it's a nice deep layer of mulch now. The chickens did get into this bed when I was sick, so they kind of destroyed a little bit of the growth. The zucchini just never ended up making it, so I just took it out. I cleaned up a couple things. The garlic chives, they seem to be doing just fine. We can start harvesting now, but I am just trying to wait for them to flower at least once before I start doing that. You can see the ones back there, they're a little bit sad, worse for wear after the chickens, but they're doing just fine. And a couple of the kales I had to pull because they just got too mangled from the chickens, unfortunately. But it's okay. That's what happens. It's a living system. It's just going to keep on changing and keep on. We just have to keep on adapting. No big deal. Oh, check it out. We have a turmeric flowering right here. So this is a turmeric flower. It does produce a nice little light odor, which I can smell, but Katie can't. So I'm not sure if it's something only some people can smell, or if it's just not super strong, only strong at some time. So this basically is an indication that at this point there are turmeric rhizomes down there that we could harvest. But our friends up the hill, with Rio up the hill at Hacienda Rosa, they had some flowering too, so they started to dig them up, and there wasn't that many. So with turmeric, if you just let it keep growing and growing and let it kind of die back, and then harvest it, you're going to probably have more rhizomes to actually harvest and use. But at this point, you could harvest it and use the rhizomes down there. So we're just going to let it keep going, let them all flower, and see how it goes, and then we'll do some harvesting a little bit later. But really excited to see our first turmeric crop starting to come in and actually get some sort of get something from it. Of course, we're probably going to save a lot of those turmeric rhizomes to use for the next crop, but we'll also keep some at least for us to use, because you got to use some fresh turmeric. It's delicious, nutritious, and all those things. Yesterday I just cleaned up basically all the grassy area up here and along the laundry line for the lady, so she doesn't have to walk into high grass. It's never ideal. And this garden up here, the chickens never got into, but it's doing all right so far. The one up here, you can see, I think the cat really likes to come in and dig, so there probably is some cat scat in here. But all these arugula, when I was sick, I had this burlap sack over them, and I put it there to basically protect them from the intense sun that we had been having. But when I got sick, I left it on there, kind of forgot about it, and they ended up getting a little bit squished, because it just really shouldn't be on there full time, right up against the plants, which is why I just laid it right across the bed here. So they didn't love it, but you can see they're all growing, they're all green, they're all kind of starting to kind of bounce back. Let's take a look real quick at the pepper bed here. So I think the last video, maybe, I put this up, this burlap, and this is again just to add a little bit of extra shade. You can see that all these peppers down here, they seem pretty happy. There is still a little bit of this leaf curl. That might just be something that's going on in the soil too. I haven't checked this soil yet with my microscope yet, but everything in here is growing quite nicely. It seems to be pretty happy. It's starting to sprawl out. I have yet to see any flowers though, so still waiting on flowers from these guys. So it's kind of interesting. These guys were really stunted. It took a long time because they were underneath tomatoes, so they never really started producing flowers. So I'm not actually sure if we'll get a crop. I suspect we will, especially from this plant over here. It's the most kind of robust growing one. It's definitely the happiest. It has been the happiest for some time. So I suspect we should be looking to see some sort of budding soon, and hopefully some crop. But if not, then we'll basically just take that out, clear the bed, reset it, and then that'll be ready for the next crop, because that's basically the time we're in now. It's about to be a reset time, bed reset and restart everything time. Sweet potatoes, more than likely ready for harvest in here. I just haven't actually gotten in here to do that. The chickens got in here and scratched a lot when I was sick, so I'm sure they added some fertility in there. Maybe we did not necessarily want that, but there it happened, and yeah, they'll be just fine. And then down here, the chickens really got into here. You can see they destroyed my edging here. They kicked all this, all these coconut husks down that we use as our edging for the garden beds. So this is just, a work in progress of coming back and resetting everything to where it was. I haven't gotten in here yet. Again, mostly this is going to be another sweet potato bed. So honestly, I was okay with them coming in here and kind of scratching around, getting rid of some of the weeds when I wasn't out managing it. So it's perfectly okay to partner with the animals and let them into the garden beds, right? You just don't want them to do that so much that it destroys things, right? And they got to the point where it was pretty massive. They really kind of did a big scratch and really disturbed a lot of the soil in here. So it wasn't ideal at all. But at the same time, they cleaned up a little bit for me, and the sweet potatoes will be just fine. They're pretty resilient, and they will just keep on growing pretty much no matter what. Chickens also got into this bed. You can see there's this little bit of a bare soil patch, and they scratched through here, but again, it's all right. It's not the end of the world. We do have, look, I think a little pepper start on this one here, but it's not looking too happy, and this plant actually looks like it's almost dying. So it's also possible that this is a cat scratching in here. In fact, probably more than likely this cat right here scratching in here and maybe leaving a little bit too much nitrogen directly right near the roots, because we shouldn't really see that kind of withering at this point. So It's a challenge. It's a challenge all the time, but you know, we're gonna keep moving through it, and we'll get through it. And it might just be that we don't get any sort of pepper harvest, and that's okay. We'll start with the next one. Look at the chicks. Oh, here comes Mama, really excited. I think we're going out. You guys are not going out. There are the chicks up there, the twins. They're doing well. I don't think they've started laying quite yet. I've not seen any excess eggs at this point, but I think they're getting pretty close at this point to starting to lay. So looking forward to that. And down here, basically it's just fine, no big deal. This is just a little pasture area. And honestly, when I was sick, what ended up happening is I left this gate open, I think the night before I got sick by accident. And then I was just, you know, in bed for about a week. So I completely forgot that this was open. So that's why the chickens ended up getting into the beds, because they were constantly able to come down here, explore. So these guys, they've been down here and really taking care of this area for me, so I appreciate that. I do not appreciate that they found a way to get up here and then into the garden and take over that area. So, but that's okay. We still love them. We still let them do their thing, and they just want to get out. They always want to be out and down here. They love the pasture down here and the dust bath down below my mom's house. So overall, not too bad, you know, a little bit overgrown, a little bit of extra work here. Oh, check this out. Check out this parcha vine that has started on its own. It's really starting to boom. It crawled up this papaya tree here, and the base of it's just right down here. So we will have some parcha, passion fruit. It's yellow passion fruit here in Puerto Rico. That's the main one that grows. So I just need to figure out how I'm gonna keep this upright long term, because this seems to be like it's going to be my forest garden down here based on all the papayas and everything we got going on here. And check this out, guys. We have a female papaya with fruits here. So that's really exciting. And this is just one of the random ones that grew from seed at the base here. So I've been really trying to, I've been hoping for a female to come up around here, and finally we got one. So this one will actually produce fruit. There's a bunch of flowers on it now, and we have so many male papayas, which is this one right here. That's the male, growing with all these little spindly flowers coming off. So we got plenty of male flowers that are out right now, and that's going to be hopefully all the bees and everything will be out here and pollinating our papayas, and we'll have a nice crop coming along pretty soon. One last thing before I sign off for the day, to show you this little upper area. I did shove, when I pruned this back a little bit because it was just growing too much out into this path here, I literally just shoved a piece of it right into the ground here. And look at that, we got a new cassava growing. It's also called manioc. It's also called tapioca. Tapioca is made from it, so often it's just called tapioca. We got a pineapple back here doing pretty well. Another cassava right here. Here's the katuk. Katuk is I've featured it many times before, but it's a perennial kind of small shrubby bit, and you can eat all these leaves. You can also eat the flowers. And let's see, I think there's a bunch of flowers on right now. Yeah, check it out. Lots of flowers on. And these flowers, they're little seed pods they produce. You can also eat the seed pods that they produce. Look at all these flowers. It's amazing. So many. Kind of cool little color here. So these guys are doing well. Another pineapple down here. And there is another katuk. It's based right here, and actually just rerouted it this way because the neighbor just came through and cleared his side of the fence. So I did the same thing. I just cut down a bunch of it on my side. And this guy was actually leaning out this way towards the clothesline and really just trying to take over this whole space. So I just redirected it around a vine here, and I'm going to try to see if it'll kind of go up and clamber this way. But katuk, really great just for salad greens. Really nice just to have in salad greens. A little bit of a nutty flavor in the leaves, and just delicious. Something different, something nice to add. And of course, we got this rack of, I believe, plantains. These are of some sort, and really excited about these. Beautiful rack. Let me check out the little lizard. Oh, he jumped away. There's a little lizard that was on the top there. At this point, there's not going to be any more produced. You can see these are all just duds. The flower will keep going down here. I could cut this, and that would just kind of promote this to start ripening, But personally, I like to just let it kind of get to the point until it's really small, and these are pretty much ready. It's going to keep on producing flowers here for the bees, and also the banana keats, little birds love them as well. So I just like to keep it on for as long as possible, and there's not really any reason to take it off other than to just kind of start that ripening process for the banana, or plantain, I believe in this case. All right, folks, that's it for me today. It's not going to be any sort of work task this morning because I got some other things to take care of today, and really just starting to get back into this this backyard thing from after last week's dengue. So yeah, note to self, do not get dengue. I did learn though that there's 4 types of dengue, and once you've had one type, you can't get that specific type again. So I'm going to count that as a positive, as I can no longer get whatever type I got. Hopefully that's the most common one here in Puerto Rico. I just got my fingers crossed there, and we'll kind of go from there. I'm just hoping to never have to go through that experience again, and I hope that anyone out there in the tropics, I hope you have avoided that, or if you have had it, I hope you've recovered smoothly, and I feel for you because I've gone through it now. It was not fun. All right, well, hope you enjoyed. The subscriber count is continuing to go up, even though I haven't been producing any videos. So thank you guys so much to my community for sharing these videos and for getting it out there. And I think I'm already past 215. I think last I looked at it was around 218 or something like that. And we just crossed 200, which what I think was a week ago, but it was probably 2 weeks at this point because I basically lost a week in my head. So yeah, really cool, amazing to see that subscriber count go up. Really makes me happy, and I really appreciate you guys for sharing those videos and getting the word out there. So hope you like that, and until next time, have a good one.